Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Today we welcome back Oleksiy Goncharenko, Ukrainian member of parliament and a leading voice in the European Solidarity Party, as well as a regular guest on TVP World. As Ukraine navigates intensified Russian aggression, critical diplomatic shifts and new defense partnerships, we discuss President Zelensky's recent meetings with G7 leaders and Chancellor Merz, the potential of Taurus missiles and Donald Trump's changing rhetoric on Russia, as well as Ukraine's evolving drone strategy. Welcome back, Oleksiy. Thank you for taking the time.
Hello.
All right, so let's start with President Zelensky's meeting with Chancellor Merz. Quite a lot coming out of that meeting. A joint agreement to supply long-range weapons. Some of them will be made in Ukraine, lifting restrictions on how those missiles, Taurus missiles, can be used, or missiles generally can be used. Tell me, how do you see that whole dynamic and the relationship between the two countries, Ukraine and Germany?
I hope that relationships will be okay, because Germany, not just okay, but Germany should be our biggest ally in Europe, taking into account German economy, size of German economy, German population. Germany should be one of the leaders of European Union. And today, in the moment when United States support to Ukraine is wavering, it is so important, critically important, to be confident in European support. And Germany here is the key. Also because Chancellor Merz is just a brand new leader of Germany, and he will lead Germany next years. Not like President Macron, who will soon stop to be president because he can't run again, for example. So that's why this is a very important visit, and I hope Ukraine and Germany will have a very, very close and fruitful cooperation.
Okay, now I'd like to break that down a little bit. Let's start with the missiles. Chancellor Merz wasn't particularly, he avoided questions directly about the supply of Taurus missiles, but it does really open up some opportunities, doesn't it, for Ukraine to defend itself? For example, the use against the Kerch Bridge connecting Crimea to mainland Russia. How much of a game changer do you think this is going to be?
I think it can be very significant, but it depends on numbers of Tauruses which Ukraine will receive. Because if we're speaking about tens or dozens of them, it is important still, but it will not be a game changer. If we're speaking about hundreds of them, it's another story. I don't know the answer. In any way, that's good. Again, it's a pity that it took so much time to make this decision. Unfortunately, Russians are now much better prepared against such attacks than they were 3 years ago. So we lost quite a lot of time, and we lost quite a lot of opportunities. But better later than never.
Indeed. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit and talk to me about the relationship between Ukraine and other EU countries. How is that going? Is the support, as you see it, from your perspective, as strong as you would like it to be? Is there something else you would like to see?
On words, the support is very strong, but I want to see much more action. For example, seizing of Russian frozen assets. Because I can't really understand why Europe has more than 200 billion euros altogether of Russian frozen assets and is not using them to help Ukraine to fight today and tomorrow to rebuild the country. And they still not seized these Russian frozen assets. And that's completely in the hands of European allies. It's not President Trump. It's Europeans who are deciding it. And the main voices here are German, French, and Belgian voices. So we're waiting for a final decision on this. Also, I can't understand why Europe is losing time, not ramping up its military production with the pace it should be done, because Russia is doing this and Europe is not. And we need weapons, but unfortunately we don't have it enough today. Especially again when there is no new American administration. From the moment that President Trump took office, there were no decisions to provide Ukraine with additional packages of weaponry. So definitely, when less is coming from from the United States, more should come from Europe.
Understood. Well, it seems as though President Trump's attitude towards the war, and Putin in particular, is changing. He called him crazy just very recently. Some breaking news. We hear from Lavrov, the Russian foreign secretary, the foreign minister, proposing peace talks in Istanbul on June the 2nd. Your thoughts? How reliable do you think those reports are, and is it going to move the needle if it does happen?
We should. Ukraine wants to stop the war as soon as possible. We agreed on complete ceasefire in March, but Russia does not agree. I don't believe that Russia will be will have a goodwill in this possible next round of negotiations in Istanbul. I think Russia continues to try to win some time, to continue its summer offensive, which has already started. So I'm not waiting any breakthrough during this possible second round. But in any way, Ukraine is ready to go there and to be there. But before United States will put a real pressure on Putin, nothing will happen, and no real peace, no real ceasefire even will not be achieved.
So more of the same is what you're expecting. Oleksiy Goncharenko, thank you very much for sharing your time and analysis with our audience. Have a good evening, sir. Stay safe. And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.